Dear friends in Jesus Christ, failure is a stepping stone to success. It's a phrase which is not new to us. Many might have told us, or we ourselves might have told many. Yet, not many of us are truly ready to fail. The reason is, we all want to be successful in whatever we do or undertake. Sometimes it also happens we by all means want to be successful and are not able to accept the failure. There is nothing wrong in wanting to be successful. But dear friends, Jesus, our Master and Lord, reminds us and teaches us to be ready to face the future failures that we may come across in our mission and in our day-to-day life. Yet, He urges us to do our best and to leave rest to God. In the Gospel according to Luke chapter 10, verse 13 to 16, Jesus presents a clear example that failures are inevitable in life. This passage appears to be very strange as it presents Jesus, the most merciful Lord, the great teacher, the Son of God, the miracle worker, utters woes to certain cities of Israelites for their lack of response to His teaching and to the great works of power He has done there. The immediate context of this passage is the mission of the 70 in the Gospel of Luke chapter 10 verse 1 to 12, where Jesus instructs His disciples about their mission. This passage presents the instructions of Jesus about the disciples' mission, the rejections they would be facing in their mission, and even sometimes the failure of their mission. The rejection of Jesus did not come from Gentiles, but from His own people, the Israelites. The cities of Chorazin, Bethsaida, and Capernaum were of Israelites, where Jesus has done the works of great power. We read in the beginning of Mark's Gospel, chapter 2, about the city of Capernaum, where Jesus cures the man with unclean spirit, heals the mother-in-law of Peter, cures many of their sicknesses, and casts out many demons. Again, in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 43, we read about the city of Bethsaida, and this passage presents Bethsaida as the city of Peter, Andrew, and Philip. In the Mark's Gospel, chapter 8, verse 23 to 26 presents Jesus curing the blind man at Bethsaida, bringing him out of the village and ordering him strictly not to enter the village again. However, we do lack the references to the city of Chorazin in the canonical book of the Bible, but we do find in the apocryphal books. Hence, all these prove that these cities were of Israelites, where Jesus had done great miracles, yet they did not respond to His teaching, but have rejected Him and have not accepted Him. On the other hand, the cities of Tyre and Sidon were of Gentiles, and we do find a lot of references to them in the books of the Bible. In the first book of Kings, chapter 7, verse 18 to 21, presents King Hiram of Tyre, who provided furniture to the King Solomon to build the temple of Jerusalem. Again, in the first book of Kings, chapter 17, verse 13 onwards, we read, Prophet Elijah was fed by the widow of Zarephath, a city belonging to Sidon. However, we do find the references to the downfall of these cities in the books of the prophets, Prophet Isaiah, chapter 23, Prophet Jeremiah, chapter 25, Prophet Ezekiel, chapter 26 to 28. We do find these cities in the New Testament in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 3, verse 7 to 8, we read, the people of Tyre and Sidon comes to listen to Jesus. Therefore, Jesus, after having taught these cities of Chorazin, Bethsaida, and Capernaum the ways of God, finds their rejection and the lack of response to His teaching. He feels so frustrated, disappointed, and discouraged. It was same with many of the great men in the Bible, like Moses, Aaron, Joshua, Judges, and David, and all the prophets. For instance, let us look at Job, who after being so righteous and good, had to face a lot of trials and tribulations, most of all criticism from his own friends, and even worse, faced a great pressure from his wife to curse God and die. In all these circumstances, we find his total surrender to God. In the book of Job, chapter 40, we read, he says, Lord, I am of small account. What can I answer thee? This presumes his total surrender to God. He has submitted himself totally to God, yet his friends nor his wife were able to understand him, but have rejected him for clinging on to God even in those moments of struggle. Hence, Jesus instructs his disciples to not to get worried about the result of their mission, but to focus on fulfilling the mission of the Father, fulfilling the will of God through their mission. Therefore, Jesus instructs his disciples to cling on to God in all the moments of their struggles. This instruction of Jesus had resulted in the great success of many of the disciples. And we read afterwards that all the disciples of Jesus were able to spread the good news to the whole world. And even now, after 2,000 years, the mission of Christ continues. Therefore, dear friends, Jesus again reminds us, you and me, that we too may face the failures in our day-to-day life, be it priestly ministry or secular works. Sometimes people may not listen to what we do or teach. And even worse, we may feel difficult to cling on to God, to face those moments of struggle. Jesus gives the same instructions which he gave to his disciples 2,000 years back. That to do our mission without thinking about the result, but focusing on how faithful we are to the works entrusted to us. The greatest among the missionaries, St. Paul too felt upset when his mission was not successful at times. But he too understood the fact that it is not the result that he needs to be worried about, but how faithful he is to the mission entrusted to him. Therefore, in the Galatians chapter 6 verse 9, he says, do not grow weary of doing what is right, for we will reap at harvest time if we do not give up. Therefore, dear friends, with these words of Paul in mind, let us ask God for the grace of doing our day-to-day works without getting tired or without thinking about the result, but focusing on how faithful we are to the works entrusted to us. Therefore, even if we fail, our failures may turn out to be a stepping stone to success.